Hello guys, this is JENNIE. I'm an artist producer, songwriter and filmmaker based in Seoul, South Korea. I've been in Korea since the K-pop boom back in 2009 and have been working in various projects in the K-pop industry. With KPOP NERD, I not only review and explain what's going on in your favorite K-pop songs, but I also attempt to give you an insight on the production perspective of those works. So, JENNIE. When Blackpink's Do 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 came out last summer, I was really obsessed with the second verse of the song.
Blackpink! 지금 내가 걸어가는 거린 Blackpink four-way 사거리 동서남북 사방으로 running in a bucket list 싹 다 버려 널 당기는 것도 멀리 밀치는 것도 제 멋대로 하는 bad girl 조건 싫어하고 누가 뭐라 하던 with a bass drop it's another bang.
It was such a display of JENNIE's rap skills, and at the same time her body language and expressions in the music video were really intriguing. 5 months later, she gets her own single song and music video.
나는 solo.
JENNIE has debuted with girl group Blackpink under YG Entertainment back in 2016. Blackpink was YG's attempt to slowly fade out girl group 21 that had already conquered the K-pop scene for 7 years. The expectations were really high, but Blackpink surprised us by delivering releases that to most people felt like a worthy continuation of 21's legacy, and at the same time they differentiated themselves with their own unique style. JENNIE is the main rapper and vocalist for Blackpink. She was born in Korea in 1996 and she has spent 5 years in New Zealand when she was younger. It took 6 years of training under YG to get prepared for her debut in Blackpink. Before her debut, she was actually featured in various YG Entertainment songs and music videos like Ihai Special and G-Dragon's.xx. JENNIE is something between the cool kid and a queen when it comes to Blackpink, with strong deliveries but always in a classy way. Many people find her sexy and more attractive than the other members, but of course those things are always up to debate, especially in a group like Blackpink that each of the girls are top-of-the-range idols. It took several releases with Blackpink, but finally here we have the opportunity to enjoy her first solo release, which is conveniently titled Solo. In this breakup song, JENNIE is struggling with her current relationship. Just the previous night, she found out her lover is cheating on her and she had a really rough time. Then she realizes that all this time she has been pretending and lying to herself about this relationship, when in reality she seems quite uncomfortable and not living the romantic and intense kind of love story she wishes for. So she decides to break up with a guy, going solo and emerging stronger and independent. The music video is mixed up time-wise, as it starts with a result and then we are slowly exposed to the story that caused this result. At the intro of the music video, JENNIE is seen at the palace just coming back at what it seems a very early time in the morning. She's taking off a band from her wrist. This is actually a wristband they put on you when you're going clubbing, so you can freely come and go in the club at any time. She seems disappointed, and as we will find out later, this is because of what happened at the club that she went to in the previous night. The palace shows how she has been feeling lately, a vulnerable and lonely princess. Somebody that she's being treated nicely, but at the same time that's not enough to satisfy her. At the next scene we can see her taking off an innocent looking dress, revealing her badass side. That dress represents her past relationships and memories. She puts that dress to the washing machine, expressing that she's ready to wash off her memories, forget and move on. We are seeing all these memories cleaning up and flying around as soap bubbles. JENNIE decides to actually leave the dress behind, as she thinks it's a thing of the past and it's not a useful part of herself anymore. Then we are introduced to what actually happened the previous night. We can see JENNIE at the club surrounded by people dancing and having fun, and we can see her ex-boyfriend fooling around with another girl and her finding about it. She obviously didn't take it very well and she's going through some very strong emotions at the back alley, crying and feeling very hurt. Then JENNIE is seen on Wings outfit, representing her rebirth and escape from the bad feelings. It's the time of thinking and re-evaluating her choices to finally emerge as a strong shining solo. Although all these scenes are presented as a one-night story, you can see different wardrobe choices for each scene. I believe this is done intentionally to show that these things in a relationship don't necessarily happen in one night, but rather a longer period of time. The song is a trap and pop hybrid featuring typical trap elements like rhythmic snares and the famous 808 sub-kick pass. A sound originally made popular with the introduction of Roland's TR-808 drum machine all the way back in 1982. The melodic flute-like sound is also typical of trap music, softened down a bit to fit the pop genre. At the same time, the song is presented with a typical pop form with 2 verses and pre-choruses, 3 hooks and a bridge. The instrumental has a very simple sound set with no more than a few sounds playing at the same time. It's those kinds of instrumentals though that need very precise sound design, as it's very easy to end up with single sounds that overwhelm the total mix. It's also very tricky to create sounds soft enough for pop music and at the same time being able to deliver a powerful song. The vocal melody at both verses has a lot of rap elements with really nice rhythm, but at the same time the character and attitude required for a pop song. The whole second verse actually is exclusively in English.
Used to be your girl, now I'm used to being the girl. You sitting on your feelings and sitting on my throne. I ain't got no time for the troubles in your eyes. This time I'm only looking at me, myself.
During the pre-chorus we can hear some really nice background vocals that are answered with high-pitched, well-defined vocals.
이건 아무 감정 없는 love story. 어떤 설렘도
At the chorus part, Jennie delivers the catchy hook, extending the low sound from the word solo into a melodic riff.
I'm going solo, la, 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 la. I'm going solo, la, 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 la.
Finally, during the bridge, we can hear how, although the words have a nice rap-like rhythm, they are delivered melodically and with plenty of energy to lift the song and Jennie out of the relationship's sad feelings.
만남, 설렘, 감동, 뒤엔 이별, 눈물, 후회, 그리움 홀로인 게 좋아 난 나다워야 하니까.
During the first verse, Jennie is stuck into the typical relationship routine with her lover asking her the same things every day, something that doesn't really touches her.
매일 뭐해 어디야 밥은 잘자 baby 자기 여보 보고 싶어 다 부질없어.
Then at the pre-chorus it's made clear that Jennie is not really feeling the relationship and she's expecting much more.
이건 아무 감정 없는 love story. 어떤 설렘도 어떤 의미도.
Finally, at the bridge, just before the final hook and at the song's most energetic point, Jennie shows us where exactly she wants herself to be.
자유로운 바람처럼 구름 위에 별들처럼 멀리 가고 싶어 밝게 빛나고 싶어.
The music video was filmed in a variety of locations, including internal and external. It was entirely filmed in London in 3 full days, or was it really? The first location is the palace that is used for different parts of the video. This palace, of course, is in London, as unless built for some tourist attraction, it's very unlikely you will find this kind of building in Korea with that large space, with gardens and an impressive pool. It's used at the first half of the song, where we can see Jennie coming back from the club, then in her room waking up or hanging around the pool and the garden. But we can also see this palace-themed shots in 3 dance routines. The first chorus, where she dances alone in a large room, then during the second chorus that she dances in front of the carousel and fireworks explode in the background. Finally, during the last chorus, where she dances with a dance group of backup dancers. I believe that this last scene with the dance team was not actually shot in London but rather back in Korea, something that I'm going to explain later. At the beginning of the music video, we can see Jennie coming back to her home wearing a velvety blue dress and a pair of black high heels. A wide drone shot introduces us to the foreign environment with the villa's impressive large gate and a late 90s Aston Martin sports car. She still has the wristbands from her clubbing the previous night, which she takes off while being obviously fed up. Then she pets her dog. Is this Jennie's actual dog Kai that we have seen in Blackpink's live broadcasts and they brought him all the way to UK? Judging by the ears and the fur, is rather unlikely. Then we can see her on her princess bed, waking up, not feeling really happy, just hanging around on the sofa with many teddy bears and finally on a chair. Although she drinks in a teacup, there is a flask there usually used for alcohol, which shows she's not doing really well drinking in daytime. Also, these shots are pretty tight, not showing so much of the environment, but instead fitting her from the top to the bottom of the frame, almost like squeezing her, and that's to express the suffocating feelings. In some of the shots, extra uncertainty is added by the use of unstable handheld camera movement that can aid into expressing emotional situations like this. During these shots, she changes clothes 3 times. This is to show that all the situations have been her ongoing life in the past and not just one single day. All these clothes are warm and homey, that's so how Jen is spending her time in, waiting for something interesting to happen. All those shots fit the lyrics perfectly, where she describes her boring and disappointing relationship. As we get to the pre-chorus, we can see Jennie sitting on a chair inside the pool reading Love Stories, a book featuring 19 romantic stories from different writers. The pool, which is filled up with vibrating water, represents her inner emotions and sensitivity. She's tearing a page from the book, throwing it into the pool, showing how she's tired of all that theoretical romance and at the same time wishing something nice would happen to her. The next scene takes place at the garden, with Jennie sitting at a throne-like chair and surrounded by roses. We can see the garden walls behind her, trapping her into the endless but worthless romance. The roses represent failed relationships, and the big clock shows how the time has been passing while Jennie is waiting for something great to happen. We can also see some other chairs, some of them fallen, which shows the progress, how she has rejected her past failures and tried to move on to better things. Then she can be seen dancing around some larger pools in front of the palace in an orange dress, showing she is ready to shine and take control of her emotions. Finally, she decides that all this is not worth it and she's going solo. You will notice that there were no lip-sync shots throughout the first part until this moment. This was done on purpose to make us feel like we're the third party watching from far and listening to Jennie's story, starting to feel sorry about her. But then, boom, she's preparing us for the energetic and emphatic hook by making a declaration: I'm signing solo, or if you rather the more wild version, I'm a solo. And then she appears dancing on her own in a beautiful and well-executed contemporary dance routine, showing her beauty and strength, like telling us, I'm worth much more than that, I deserve better. This is actually a pretty challenging shot with light coming from outside through the windows. We can see both the detail on the exterior through the windows and the detail on her face and the outfit. If you were to film this shot as it is, you would either get really bright blown up windows or really dark shadows on her and her outfit, depending on how you set your exposure. In order to make this shot possible, you would need to compress the dynamic range of the image so it fits in the camera's sensor. Some light needs to somehow hit her from the front side in order to bring exposure closer to the bright light that is coming from outside. If we were to use artificial lights directly on her, it would be really tricky to avoid shadows since the space is really tight to create enough diffusion for the light. So what they are possibly doing here is that they have some large panels set on the walls at the left and the right side of the room. Those panels bounce back some of the light coming from the windows, or possibly some extra lights pointing directly towards those panels, making the ratio of the light much more even so such a shot can be achieved. In the middle of the hook, we move to the next scene, which is the laundry room. Jennie enters the room wearing a pretty pink dress. That dress is a symbol for her past relationships and the expectations for a romantic love story. She takes it off and she puts it in the washing machine, exposing a badass swimsuit, representing her new strong and independent self. With that, she delivers in cool fashion the second verse, which is the rap part of the song. A machine is used to fill up the scene with soap bubbles. Those bubbles represent the past memories that are washed off. At the end, she opens the door of the washing machine to check if everything is cleaned up. She decides though to leave the dress behind, signifying a completely change for the future with a new path that is completely different than her past. Then we're taken back to the scene that caused all this disappointment and pain. Jennie is seen at the club partying, and then suddenly she stumbles upon her boyfriend being intimate with another girl. Then we can see a shot that Jennie is walking alone past her boyfriend and the other girl. This is to show how shocking that sight was to her, as everything else around her didn't matter anymore. Her fun and nice mood was just ruined and taken away in a heartbeat. The party is over for her and she ends up lonely. The next location is external, and Jennie can be seen bicycling around, meaning she's leaving her past behind. She closes the love stories book, showing she just had enough of those. Then we can see her dancing in 3 locations. One is a tunnel full of graffitis where she's standing in front of it like she just came out. The tunnel symbolizes her past that she has just exited from. There are few people at the back inside the tunnel. Are they just strangers that happen to be there during the filming, or could they be there on purpose to symbolize the people that she has left behind back in the tunnel? The other dancing scene is pretty impressive, with Jennie dancing in front of a carousel and fireworks going on in the background. It shows how she feels happy and excited about her decision to go solo and what is coming in the future. Finally, she's dancing alone in the middle of the street in London, showing us how she feels free and not caring much about the past. During the bridge, we get a sequence of a typical cycle for a relationship. In the beginning, the meetings and the happy times, followed by the sad and lonely times. Then the rebirth. JENNIE can be seen on a car where she wrote with her lipstick quotes of moving on, like "not even a distant memory" and "better off without you," to help herself move on. She's wearing a pair of wings symbolizing how she's now ready to fly away from the past and make a new start. During this scene, the car is actually pulled using a truck. Finally, we get to the last dance scene. Just when we were ready to complain like, "Hey YG, you didn't have money for backup dancers for this music video," boom, there are 24 of them just for a few seconds during the last chorus, showing that going solo does not mean she's going to be alone. She has all her friends around and she's ready to live exciting times by loving herself. Now, while this dance scene is made to look like it was filmed in the palace location, realistically speaking it's not. There are a few reasons why it's very unlikely that it was filmed in London, and much more likely that it was filmed back in Korea instead. Firstly, it would be really impractical, expensive and a logistics nightmare to bring what it appears to be 24 very beautiful and high-skilled Korean backup dancers all the way to UK just for this shot. Their flight tickets, picking them up, their makeup and hair, their stay, their food, their clothes and so on. It's not that YG doesn't have the money to do it, but producers tend to be pragmatic and down to earth on these matters. They would choose to spend all that money much more wisely on something that brings real production value. On the other hand, you might think, oh, they could be Koreans living in UK or nearby countries, but this is also a very far-fetched scenario, as all these girls would have to be auditioned, clear up their schedule, tested, and be brought up together weeks ahead and practice under the choreographer. The second giveaway is how that room is lit by design, something that is not found in normal living spaces but rather in typical set architecture created for filming. In addition, the perfect and symmetric prop design is typical of Korean music video set mentality, attempting to recreate attic spaces that are not originally found in Korea. We can see that Chandelier is different style than the first dance solo, which is definitely filmed in the Palace location in London with matching style. In the last scene, the Chandelier is conveniently placed in the background just as a production value aid and not in the center of the room, which would be the expected location in a normal room. The fireplace is different, and of course we can see the many well-designed gaps embedded in the architecture of the set, so it can be lit perfectly for filming. The fact that this room is the only one that is not presented in the behind-the-scenes video that shows how the music video is being filmed in London is further proof to this theory. Now, whether building a set and having additional shots in Korea is any cheaper than bringing the backup dancers to UK is a whole different story. It's definitely more manageable and easier to plan though, and that is something very important when filming music videos. And here is some even more speculation for you. Could it be that a whole music video was actually filmed in Korea first, and YG found that it just wasn't what he wanted, so they went to UK to film further and they only used some of the shots from the original video? Or the more likely explanation that this was the plan all along and they just filmed these extra dance shots in Korea? Well, we will never really know, and it doesn't really matter after all. The end product is fantastic and definitely up to par with the company's usual hyper-representation quality and what JENNIE deserves as an artist. The music video was filmed using the Areia Alexa mini camera, which has been the standard in the K-pop industry for mid and high budget music videos for many years now. This is paired with Cooke Cine lenses, which is a bit unusual for K-pop music videos, as the Areia's master primes are the usual choice. We can see JENNIE holding a storyboard while she has her hair prepared for the next shot. Storyboards are made by the director to convey his vision to the rest of the production team and of course the artist. It can be either drawn images or screenshots from other music videos or movies and a short description that conveys the mood and the action of the shots. This is different than a shot list, which is a more technical oriented document and has a list of every shot to be taken, usually accompanied by information such as lighting, camera settings and movement, less focal length and so on. A shot list is also very important because it can give you a good idea of how long each shot will take, so each of the production team members can get things prepared on time, like the set, props and of course the artist. Also, usually most K-pop music videos are filmed in a continuous 24 or 48-hour shoot with brief breaks and rests. In this specific case, we had 3 days shooting with full breaks for sleeping, which is quite rare, and it was probably done this way because the filming was taking place in a foreign environment with more complex logistics and a variety of locations, as opposed to studio K-pop music videos where everything takes place at the same location. The physical album of the release is a simple, small-size, hard case colored pink with the words JENNIE Solo in the front. It comes with a card that has the lyrics of the song and all the credits for the people that have worked on this release, as well as a Polaroid-style card with JENNIE's photo and a short message and signature at the back. There are probably a few versions of these cards and you get one at random. They're just printed and not actually signed by JENNIE herself. Then inside we can see the numerous pictures of the photo book. They're in a slightly different style than the music video, and they're more like a fashion guide from JENNIE. Finally, at the end, there is the CD and a roping band that contains the track list. My personal opinion is that I really love this song and the music the moment it came out, like I do for most Blackpink releases anyways. I like the cool and well-refined style, and every release from Blackpink is something I wait patiently and sit down and enjoy when it comes out. I have two favorites in Blackpink, and that's JENNIE and Lisa, so for me it was a really nice present to see a solo release from JENNIE. I'm a big fan when trap elements are blended into female K-pop songs because I believe they bring out the inner strength of the girls, something that makes them much more attractive to me rather than, let's say, innocent or super romantic concepts. Every time JENNIE looks at the camera, I can feel it in my heart. I'm like, girl, stop it. That's all I can take for now. I can't wait to see what's next from Blackpink. Maybe another solo? Could it be Lisa? I'm definitely down for that. Or for anything. If you have any questions about anything I just explained, or you're just curious about anything regarding K-pop production, feel free to comment with your question and I will try to answer. Also, let me know which songs you would like me to do next time so I can start studying it, get the CD, film it, and so on. And if you have any ideas or requests about more sections that I could add or things I could talk about on each episode, just leave a comment. You know, I have been planning this for a few years with a few test episodes in order to refine the format and make sure it's something you guys enjoy. Just imagine that the very first episode was Dalsabet's Someone Like You, and a song that was released in January 2016. That's 3 years ago, and I have been planning about this even before that. I created test episodes for Twice Signal, 9music Remember, and a few others that they have never seen the light because I was not ready to really commit to a continuous stream of episodes that I believe is vital for this series to make any sense. Since I'm working with the K-pop industry, I could eventually bring up songwriters, choreographers, stylists, makeup artists, or music video directors, for example, as guests in some of the episodes so they can give you a personal insight of the releases. My main point here is that while I want to express all these exciting and nerdy K-pop fanboy emotions, pretty much anybody can do that, and some actually do with reaction or explanation videos and so on. But you see, I'm not exactly that super extrovert kind of person that is like, yo, what's up, and can go on talking for 10 minutes about pretty much nothing and still being enjoyable to watch. So instead, I'm capable of giving you a much deeper insight into the K-pop products and the industry and show you how those products were actually made, allowing you to engage further with K-pop and appreciate it not just for the visuals, the songs and the choreographies, but also for the incredible and enormous amount of work that goes into delivering those products and all the people behind it. Also, while I'm going to be doing a lot of episodes for recent songs, eventually I do want to start reviewing some older K-pop classics. I have actually so many ideas, but one thing at a time. What's important right now is that if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and you are subscribed to my channel, make a comment, and finally do check out my Patreon because I really need your support so I can continue doing what I do and keep bringing more content to you. This is the K-pop Nerd, see you next time!